Welcome to the United States Hockey League.
Puck comes back out. Levshunov skating down. Nice move and a goal!
Just spectacular.
That's what an all USHL player does when the lights shine the brightest.
Celebrini, Finley, cuts in.
Good evening and welcome into the U Show week number 7. Ezra Gennello along with you. Week 7 in the USHL has come and gone, and just like every week on the U Show, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the things on the ice, a little bit about the things off the ice. We'll talk about some big players, some big plays, some big highlights, and we'll take a look ahead at week 8 in the USHL, but we'll also get to hear from a special guest. And this week in the U Show, that is Stephen Peck, one of the two netminders in Muskegon, and the Week 7 USHL Goaltender of the Week, Stephen Peck. We'll talk with him a little later. He'll join the show up here in the broadcast booth in Muskegon. But for now, let's talk about things off the ice. And, well, of course, today, November 5th, it's Election Day. If you haven't yet, polls are still open. Close at about 8 p.m., I believe, here in the Eastern time zone. Head on over to the polls. Do your duty as a U.S. citizen and go vote. I have voted, but it's also, we're talking about voting because it's Veterans and Military Appreciation Week, and around that time in the USHL, Omaha wore special jerseys this past week. Now, normally we'd show you some pictures and some highlights in those special jerseys, and you'll see them. A little spoiler for later, Cam Hendrickson, a top play in the USHL last week, but we're going to save the jersey reveals for next week. We're going to highlight some of the cool jerseys because I know some other teams around the USHL are wearing some special jerseys to honor the military, honor the veterans, and say thank you for protecting our freedoms that we have here in the United States. So a little bit of off-the-ice talk to get us going, but how about on the ice? Military jerseys in Omaha, a lot of wins on the road around the USHL, a lot of teams protecting home ice. What did Week 7 in the USHL look like last week? Well, it got started nice and early on Tuesday. The Dubuque Fighting Saints paid a visit across the state of Iowa to Waterloo and Young Arena. They picked up a 4-3 shootout win. The Blackhawks then in action on Thursday. Losers again, though this time in Fargo, taking on the Force. They did get 2 points in those two games. It was an OT win for Fargo in that Thursday night matchup. They also picked up a 4-0 win on Friday over top the Des Moines Buccaneers. Omaha, Cam Hendrickson, 1-0 shutout over Tri-City. An overtime win for the Lancers over the Storm. Muskegon picked up a 2-1 win in Cedar Rapids. Chicago 6-2 over their Eastern Conference foe, Green Bay. Dubuque continued their hot week, 4-1 over Lincoln. The Phantoms, they fell 4-1 on the road in Madison, while the Stampede and Blackhawks went at it at Young Arena, where the Blackhawks picked up the win. The week continued on Saturday and Sunday. Waterloo in Des Moines, 4-1 win for the Bucks, 4-3 win for Dubuque over Tri-City. The first place team in the Eastern Conference continues to stay hot. Lincoln, they won 4-2 over Omaha, while the Musketeers at home defeated the Fargo Force 5-3. Muskegon 4-2 over Cedar Rapids. Green Bay 4-3 over the Steel. How about that? And 4-1 again, Madison over top the Phantoms. Just one game came in the USHL on Sunday. The Omaha Lancers, the Tri-City Storm, not Stars. You know, it's funny, Logan Murphy at the league office even told me about that graphic error, and I didn't fix it. Logan Murphy, if you don't know, puts together all the graphics that you see on social media, the highlights, him alongside Matthew McGreevy. The USHL's communications team, they do a spectacular job. Spectacular. The best. And Logan and Matthew, they do a great job. They also put together some of the highlights that you'll see tonight on the U Show. Some of our players of the week, as well as our top 5 plays of the week. We have a nice conference call on Monday morning, and we say, all right, what in the world happened this past weekend? Matthew and Logan do a great job. The players do a great job, and some players are doing even better jobs. And their teams, well, they got a lot to show for it. Let's take a look at the USHL standings as of today. Election Day, November 5th, 2024. The Dubuque Fighting Saints atop the Eastern Conference, 22 points. Madison in second with 20. Muskegon in third with 17. It's Chicago, Green Bay, and Youngstown in the middle portion, while Cedar Rapids and the NTDP round out the East. The NTDP, they've not been in action in the USHL, though they have been busy. The World Under-17 Challenge going on this week in Sarnia, and a couple of USHL guys have been playing well. Adam Valentini of the Chicago Steel, 4 points, 2 goals, and 2 assists. Tynan Lawrence of the Muskegon Lumberjacks picked up a goal as the Canada White team defeated Czechia 6-2 the other day on Sunday. Caleb Croskery, the defenseman in Chicago, he's also a member of that team. They play tonight at 7:30. For more information on how to watch Lawrence, Valentini, and Croskery, you can head on over and just Google World Under-17 Challenge Hockey Canada, the website. You're going to get all that information on. Over on the western side of things, the Lincoln Stars in first place with 20 points. The Waterloo Blackhawks in second with 18. Fargo in third with 17. Then it's Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and Tri-City in the middle portion. Omaha and Des Moines rounding out the USHL standings, which is how we make our way into week number 8. But before we take a look at the upcoming schedule, we got to stay back in Week 7. We got to take a look at the USHL Players of the Week, and that starts on the offensive end, and a guy who's been here before, Giacomo Martino. 1 game this weekend, 4 points, 2 goals, and 2 assists. He was +1. He was phenomenal for the Sioux City Musketeers. Another USHL Forward of the Week honor for the forward. Best name in the USHL, by the way, Giacomo Martino. You don't get much better than that. When we take a look at the USHL league leaders, you're going to see his name pop up a lot. The Week 7 USHL Forward of the Week. On the back end, Sam Larilla of the Fargo Force. 2 games played. A goal, 2 assists, 3 points, +3. He was phenomenal for Fargo this weekend. In Sioux City, in Des Moines, he was lights out on the back end, providing some offensive firepower as well. And the guy that doesn't like that offensive firepower, the goalie of the week in the USHL Week 7, Stephen Peck, a 2-0 record, a 1.50 goals against average, and a 9.58 save percentage, 45 saves on 48 shots against, a little bit of backdoor cross-crease action for him as well. Helped the Lumberjacks to a 2-game weekend sweep on the road in Cedar Rapids. And like I said at the top of the show, I had the pleasure of talking with Stephen earlier today. Stephen Peck, one of the 2 netminders in Muskegon. We talked about this past week. We talked about next week and coming up for the rest of the season. We also talked about why the success for goaltending in Muskegon. Shika Godziev, top 5 in all the major stats, wins, save percentage, goals against average, shutouts. Stephen Peck, with the exception of shutouts, which he hasn't picked one up yet this year, but he's got a couple of wins in which he's only allowed 1 goal. He's top 10 in all those categories as well. So, why are the Lumberjacks goalies doing so well? We find out from tonight's U Show guest of the week, the USHL goaltender of the week in Week 7, Stephen Peck. Welcome back into the U Show. Ezra Gennello alongside you, and alongside one of the netminders in Muskegon, Stephen Peck. Stephen, congratulations, USHL goalie of the week in Week 7. Quite an honor. What does it feel like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a achievement I've been, hoping for and working a lot towards. And, I'm really proud of my teammates and proud of the effort we put in this weekend. And, it's just a minor milestone along the way of, hopefully winning a Clark Cup here. And but it means a lot. Like, our whole team has been working really hard to, day in, day out. And we play really good team defense. And I think this honor is just a reflection of that effort and that hard work. So, really excited and, happy to get recognized. But, again, just, 1 week and 1 weekend and doesn't really mean anything after this. So, just, setting my sights on this weekend against Omaha and looking forward to that. So.
We'll talk about Omaha in a bit. And we'll talk about the rest of the season, but we want to go back to last week, right? This is the week 7 that you got the award, and 2 wins, 2 games in Cedar Rapids. You go into another team's facility. You make 45 saves on 48 shots. You had a 1.5 goals against average and a 9.58 save percentage in those 2 games. You also, going back to week 6, you've won 3 straight games. So what has been that success, primarily last week in Cedar Rapids, that allowed you to get those big saves, and not just the big ones, but also the majority of them?
Yeah, I think, like I said, it just goes back to the team defense and the way we play as a unit. And we've been really connected over the last couple weeks, and I think the low-scoring games that we've been able to win have been a reflection of, our commitment to team defense. And, it's really nice as a goalie because sometimes in this league you can face a ton of grade A's in a game. And, recently we've been limiting those, and it just has allowed me to read off of my D and just play my game and play a simple game. And, we've been able to win off that. So, again, just working hard in practice and just commitment to D as a unit, as a team. And obviously, things like communication and, talking between periods about, what we need to improve and what we see the other team doing, that all plays into it. But, we're all just really committed to, back checking, playing hard in our zone and buying in. So just, from the coaches to the players to everybody, we just have been super committed to playing defense and, being connected. And
so for you, it's not just you, right?
Yeah.
It is a goalie tandem here in Muskegon. You and Shika Godziev, who ranks top 5 in save percentage and goals against average and wins. By the way, you're top 10 in all those categories too, right? The success is by committee in the crease for the Lumberjacks. What do you attest to that success? Is it, yourself and Shika? You mentioned the coaching staff. Jamie Phillips, the goaltending coach in Muskegon, 32,000 followers on Instagram. Obviously, a lot of people know that he's doing the right things, and it's showing on the ice with the Lumberjacks for you and Shika. What's been the secret behind that success between you and your partner in the crease?
Yeah, I mean, Shika's been a great goalie partner. We push each other every day in practice. We're super competitive. We have a super competitive partnership, and Jamie's been a great help for us too. Just a great resource to bounce ideas off of, and he works with us weekly about going over video from the game before or weekend before, and just stuff we need to focus on for the weekend we have coming up. And he's been a great resource for that, and just Shika's been super supportive when I've been playing, and I try to be the exact same way when he's in net. And I think we've had a really good partnership, and we've been really supportive of each other for each game that we've played. And I think that's a huge key to our success as a tandem. And we're trying to give our team a chance to win every night. And it doesn't matter who's in net. We're both going to do our best to help the team win.
100%, and you guys have been doing a good job of that, right? You started the year off with 9 straight road games. You had points in 7 of those 9 games. Now you guys are on a 3-game heater since making your home opener last weekend. You guys are back at home coming up this weekend. Not just a big weekend on the ice as you take on the Omaha Lancers, who of course had that big 4-game win streak earlier this year, but Military Appreciation Night. It's a big night in Muskegon. You guys are wearing some special jerseys. What's it mean to you to be able to put on a red, white, and blue jersey as a New York kid, and represent your nation and kind of play the game, honoring those that have protected the freedoms that you have here in America?
Yeah, it's super meaningful, and I've just seen it around town here. People appreciate their veterans, and I went to my Billet Brothers choir concert last night, and there was a whole procession of honoring the vets, and they were singing songs about it, and you can see how much it means to people. And rightfully so. They fight for our freedom, and they allow us to play this game that we all love. So just looking forward to those, that game this weekend and honoring our vets. Hopefully get the win for them.
And Steven, one more question for you, and we end off every interview talking about the USHL as a whole. And last year you were a top 10 goalie in the North American League. You made your USHL debut last year too, but you made that jump. You climbed the ladder of development from Tier 2 in the North American League to Tier 1 here in the USHL, and obviously that's a big accomplishment of it in and of its own. But now you're finding success, and you're committed to the University of Michigan, where you're going to go play Division I college hockey, and playing in the USHL is leading you up to that college experience. So what's about the USHL has been the most beneficial for you as you prepare to play Big Ten hockey, of all college hockey, Big Ten hockey at the U of M?
Yeah, everyone in this league is super competitive. That's the biggest thing. Like, there's no bad players in this league where, maybe you could, find a couple kids that weren't as strong as some of the others and then all. And this league, everyone can score, everyone can hit, everyone can pass, everyone has good hockey IQ. Like, everyone's got skill. So it's, challenging night in and night out, and every day you're forced to push yourself to get better. And if you don't, like, you're going to fall behind and you're going to see losses instead of wins. So every day you're kept honest here, and I think that's the biggest reason that, that's kind of what I try to live by, is just getting better every single day. And, there was times here when I first got here, it was tough. As a goalie, it's not easy when everyone can score and everyone's super talented, but, I've adjusted and just kind of been putting my head down and doing the best I can every day to get better and learn the game and trying to find ways to succeed, because it's not the same every single time you're going to play. Like, you're going to have different ways of succeeding night in and night out, but as long as you're, in constant pursuit of that, I think you're going to be better off most nights than not. So.
Well, it seems like you're pretty good right now. You're finding that success. You're winning hockey games. A testament to you, the defense, the coaching staff, and your partner, Shika Gadziev, here in Muskegon, too. Congratulations, though, because you're the one that gets the award. Week 7, USHL Goalie of the Week. It was an awesome Week 6 for you, and we're looking forward to seeing you throughout the rest of the USHL calendar starting this weekend against Omaha. So congrats on the award, and hopefully we have you back on the show later this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Ezra.
So big thanks for Stephen Peck, and obviously right here in Muskegon, I let my bias show a little bit when we get to talk with Lumberjacks players. And Xavier Veo was the defenseman of the week last week. Shika Gadziev got it the goalie of the week a couple weeks ago, and it's hard for me to hide my bias, and I'm gonna keep it going just for one more second if you bear with me. Stephen Peck. The USHL isn't just about development on the ice. Now, when he came up for this interview, he'd never been in the press box here in Muskegon. He was astounded by the view. Then I turned the lights on that you guys can't see in front of me that are super bright. And he put on the broadcast headset for the first time, and he had an interview. And the USHL, like I said, it's not just about the on-ice development, it's the off-ice development too, and it's preparing players not just to play college hockey and professional hockey and move on through their career, but it's preparing USHL players for what life is like post-junior hockey. What does it mean to be a student athlete? What does it mean to be a professional hockey player when you're not in the 60 minutes of a game? So Stephen Peck did a phenomenal job. First time he's put the broadcast headset on and done an interview in front of the bright lights up in the broadcast booth, knowing that this was going to be a live show later tonight. So he did a great job. He exemplifies what it means to be a USHL player. Developing, climbing that ladder of development from Tier 2 to Tier 1 and playing in the #1 junior hockey league in the world. But he's also doing it off the ice as well. Growing as a person, growing as a student athlete, and preparing to play Division I college hockey at the University of Michigan, where he'll be a Wolverine in the Big Ten Conference. But we did talk about Gadziev and Peck and being among the USHL leaders in goaltending statistics. I'll let the bias go now. We'll talk about all the great goaltending around the USHL. And now let me tell you, Stephen, he was really great talking about the shooters and the goal scoring in the USHL. I don't think he gives the goalies enough credit. Holy cow, do we have great goaltending. Among qualified goalies, I believe that's 240 minutes played so far this season. In the wins category, Caleb Heil in Madison, John Spoonar in Dubuque, Jan Shostak in Lincoln, Samuel Urban in Sioux City, Alan Lendak in Fargo. All guys with 6 wins. Marvin Strahl in Youngstown has 5. He's in 6th place in the USAHL. Goals against average, Shostak 145. Heil, 212. Gadziev, 214. Moore in Waterloo, 219. Moffitt in Green Bay, 224. And Spoonar in Dubuque, 226. That is crazy. We talk about this being the greatest league when it comes to goal scoring, and every single player knows how to find the back of the net. That's what Steven said. Well, these goalies are all allowing less than 2.5 goals in each and every time they're in the crease. Save percentage, 943 for Shostak, 929 for Spoonar, 929 for Moore, 920 Gadziev, Moffitt 920, Heil 917. Over 90% of the shots that these goalies face, they turn aside. And then, of course, you have Shika Gadziev, Shostak, Moffitt, Spoonar, all with 2 shutouts this season. Daniel Moore, and 5 other goalies around the USHL have 5 shutouts as well. It's not just about the goal scoring in the USHL. It's about the goaltending, too. We're going to take a quick step aside, though. We're going to decompress from all this goaltending talk. When we come back from a message from some of our partners, we're going to talk about the goal scoring, and then we're going to talk about Week 8 in the USHL here on The U Show.
Is Gen Z the laziest generation?
Yeah.
We don't work hard.
We expect big promotions right away.
We're addicted to screen time.
So worried about self-care.
And we don't adhere to dress codes. We always want everything handed to us.
Kids these days.
The wait is almost over.
This crowd is ready for hockey.
The world's best players take the ice to compete for their country. International Best on Best Hockey comes to Boston as Bruin stars Brad Marchand of Team Canada and Charlie McAvoy of Team USA compete to see which hockey nation will reign. Canada, Finland, Sweden, USA. The 4 nations face off. Get your tickets today.
Welcome back into the U Show. Ezra Gennello along with you. Week 7 in the USHL has come and gone. We're talking about it. We talked about goaltending through the first half of the show. Let's talk about the guys who are the enemies of the goalies, the guys that have been finding the back of the net with ease so far this season. Not just scoring goals, but finding open teammates who score goals, or simply just being on the ice when goals are scored. We take a look at the points, goals, assists, and plus minus. A lot of green and yellow. Giacomo Martino, the USHL Week 7 Player of the Week, leads the USHL with 16 points, tied up with his line mate in Sioux City, Landon Gunderson. Reed Davidtilla of the Fargo Force in third with 15. Riker Lee in Madison, Daniel Schlane and Lincoln, they're tied for fourth with 14. And then 4 players around the league have 13 points. In the goals category, it's Merrill Stenari that paces the USHL with 8. Martino, Bobby Cowan of the Capitals, and John McNeilis of the Stampede, joined by Brendan McMorrow with 7. Grant Dillard there as well for the Omaha Lancers. Landon Gunderson, he has 16 points. 13 of them are assists. Why? Because 7 goals belong to Giacomo Martino, who's also picking up the assist category, but a couple of Fargo Force players sandwiched between the Musketeers. Sam Larilla, the Week 7 Defenseman of the Week, has 12. Reed Davidtilla has 10. Riker Lee has 9. A couple guys also joining Lee with 9 assists. And it's all about the Madison Capitals in the plus-minus category. Igor Barabanov, I think this is 4 straight weeks he's been in first place in the USHL in terms of plus-minus at plus 13. Now he's joined at the top by his teammate John Stout. Alexander Rybakov in third with plus 11, tied up with Josh Niedermeyer of the Fighting Saints. Moline in Madison joining his teammates with plus 10. And then 4 guys around the USHL at plus 9 categories. Now, they ask not how you score, but how many you score. You want a lot of goals. You'd rather take quantity over quality, but that doesn't mean that you can't get pretty with it. Now, we did have a SportsCenter top 10 goal this week. Ben Keevan, we'll take a look at it. It is featured on our top plays of the week. It's not number 1, though. Number 1, we still love our goalies in the USHL, but let's take a look at some of those pretty goals, some of the quality goals in the USHL back in Week 7, our top 5 plays of the week, and we get started with Harper in Des Moines. How about you protect the puck, weave your way through the players in front, and make your way in on goal. Harper for the Buccaneers. But then in Waterloo, Brendan McMorrow block a shot, send your player, your teammate, Phelan to the offensive end on a breakaway. Short-handed goal, defense to offense for the Blackhawks. But then it's Zellers-Crosby. Look at this fake shot. The kick fake out in front. Looks like Sidney Crosby finishing to the back of the net at home in front of the home crowd. That got the Rush Center on their feet. Will Zellers, a top prospect in the USHL. But then we go to Kevin McDavid. Remember that goal from last year? Connor McDavid going through a whole bunch of guys. Ben Keevan, a nice little dipsy doodle toe drag, making his way in on goal. That was the number 5 play in the SportsCenter top 10 over this weekend. But Cam Hendrickson, breakaway robbery, looking to take away a shorthanded chance. sprawled out, makes the glove save. It's all about the goalies here on the U Show. And Cam Hendrickson, look at those beautiful military appreciation jerseys in Omaha. Cam Hendrickson was phenomenal over the weekend for the Lancers, who this week make their way into Muskegon. Let's take a look at the USHL schedule heading into Week 8. Every game in the USHL can be found on the official live stream partner, Flow Hockey. The week gets started on Wednesday when Lincoln pays a visit to the Musketeers. The Stars and Muskies go at it at 11 a.m. Central Time. That's noon here in the Eastern Time Zone. Then on Friday, 7 games. Chicago is in Youngstown. The Lancers are in Muskegon. Everything else, Central Time Zone puck drops. Madison pays a visit to the Western Conference and the Des Moines Buccaneers at the Mid-American Energy Recplex in West Des Moines, Iowa. Sioux Falls is in Tri-City while the Gamblers visit the Fighting Saints, top team in the USHL's Eastern Conference. Fargo is in Lincoln, while the Waterloo Blackhawks and Sioux City Musketeers close out the Friday night 7-game slate. On Saturday, another 7 games. The Steel and Phantoms, Lancers, and Lumberjacks close out their weekend series. The Stampede take on the Storm for the second straight night, while the Force take on the Lincoln Stars as well, closing their 2-game weekend series. Waterloo is in Sioux City to finish out their Sioux City's 3-game week, while the Madison Capitals hit the road on a tour through Iowa to take on the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. The Green Bay Gamblers, they take on the Dubuque Fighting Saints as the nightcap. Week 8 in the USHL. Every game can be found on the official live stream partner of the USHL, Flow Hockey. Now, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. So what we are going to do is we're going to tell you that going on in about an hour or so, 3 USHL rookies, 2008 birth years, top prospects for the 2026 NHL Draft, are playing tonight at the World Under-17 Challenge in Sarnia Auto Sales Arena. It's Adam Valentini and Caleb Croskery of the Chicago Steel, Tynan Lawrence of the Muskegon Lumberjacks. Combined, they had 5 points in the 6-2 win over Czechia for Team Canada White back on Sunday. If they win tonight over Sweden, they go straight to the semifinals. If they lose, they go to the quarterfinals on Thursday. You can check out the action, cheer on the USHL players. Valentini, Croskery, and Lawrence. They take on, I want to say Sweden. Yep, Sweden tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 in the Central Time Zone. Until then, you'll get more USHL action Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday this week. We'll be here in Muskegon. Lumberjacks and Lancers, a game you're going to want to pay attention to. Dubuque taking on some Eastern Conference opponents, while the Fargo Force are on the road. It starts out in a pretty big way. What was that Wednesday matchup that we had coming up this week? That's the Lincoln Stars and Sioux City Musketeers. A big matchup in the Western Conference. Our players and our games to watch in Week 8 of the USHL schedule. Tonight, this is the U Show every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, every Tuesday, every week. We go over everything going on in the USHL. Ezra Gennello along with you. We appreciate you tuning in from everybody at the USHL League office. We truly appreciate you tuning in Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every night there's USHL action, but we'll break it all down next week on Tuesday, 6 p.m., 5 p.m. Thanks so much for tuning in. Ezra Gennello along with you. We hope you enjoy your USHL hockey this weekend.